Welcome back. Last week I put out a video that was talking about common items like receipts, cleaning products, deodorants, and how it impacts our hormones. So as a part 2 to that video, I wanted to talk about some cheap ways to reduce the exposure to chemicals in your life and your home to live a more toxic-free lifestyle and hopefully reduce some of those hormone disruptors, and your hormones can live more peacefully and have a little bit more peace, and that'll in turn impact you. But these are some ways to kind of do that in a cheap way, because I know sometimes, or at least I feel like when I hear about all of the chemicals surrounding us in our world that mess with our bodies, it makes me kind of want to throw out every single item that I own and buy everything new, which can be very expensive, especially these companies that do have your best interests in mind and are all organic or have like no chemicals in them, can sometimes just be very expensive, which makes sense for what they're doing. And we've just gotten, I feel like as a society, so used to these cheap products that have these chemicals in them, it's kind of hard to then switch to the more expensive cleaning, organic, green, simple products, which is the goal. And I try to like slowly buy those products when I can, but when I can't, these are some things that I do in the meantime to reduce the amount of toxins that I'm exposed to. And the first one is wearing rubber gloves. So if you know what I'm talking about, I'll put up a picture, but these are the rubber gloves that I usually see people wear when they're cleaning. A lot of everyday dish soaps and cleaning products contain phthalates and other hidden chemicals that don't even have to be written on the labels that can disrupt our hormones. So if you don't want to buy all new products and want to use the ones that you currently have, or if the more natural brands are too expensive, rubber gloves are definitely the move. They obviously cover your hands and your skin so that you're not in contact with the chemicals from these products. Also, when I'm cleaning my apartment, like to wear long sleeves and long pants and even slippers or like house shoes so that you're not just absorbing everything into your skin. Now you are a lot of the times like spraying the product, so there is still that exposure when you're smelling it, and like if you clean your sink then you touch your sink without any gloves on. But just for like that straight up, like I don't want to spray myself with product by any means and just have like a direct line into my body. So at least by wearing rubber gloves and shirt, like long sleeve shirt and long sleeve pants when I'm cleaning, I kind of reduce that chance of the chemicals being directly absorbed into my skin. And these rubber gloves are what, like, I'll put an Amazon link below. Maybe not Amazon, maybe go to your local store and buy the rubber gloves, but they can't be more than $10. I think mine were like $6 or $7. The next thing that I want to talk about is reusing jars. I am a strong proponent of reusing glass jars. I love to save a pickle jar, to save like a kimchi jar, sauerkraut jar. Honestly, even like if my moisturizer comes in a glass jar, I am saving that shit. And I also am someone who buys peanut butter in glass jars. If that says anything about me, I save those jars as well. All of those jars I save. And instead of using plastic containers to store my food, which I do still have some, I'm not just gonna throw them away, but when I can, I like to use the glass jars that I have, because a lot of the times plastics contain BPA, which we learned from the last video that BPA can alter your thyroid hormones, estrogen levels, among a lot of other things. So when possible, I like to reuse these jars and use them to store food, cups, really anything. Like even sometimes I use them to store and like organize my makeup. Like over here, I have this little jar that I think was, okay, usually I like to take off this part because this is just ugly, but clearly I got a little lazy, but I'll use it to store little perfumes and stuff like that, just to keep myself more organized. And also I use these jars to hold flowers, and mason jars also work. I use it to drink water, really anything, so that I don't have to have something plastic if I don't need to. And that also goes for getting a water bottle. Plastic water bottles also contain BPAs, so by having a reusable water, I feel like this is a given. That's why I didn't even want to bring this one up, but some people, I guess, don't have an emotional support water bottle like I do. But by getting one that's stainless steel or glass is an easy way to reduce exposure to BPA, and also it's just cheaper at the end of the day. Instead of buying plastic water bottles, having your own water bottle is a lot cheaper and easier. You can carry it with you at all times. Gotta have a water bottle. And then the third thing is a mattress cover or a couch cover. So I'm gonna bring up something fun, which is flame retardants. And this is so wild, but generations ago when tobacco companies were facing growing pressures to produce fire-safe cigarettes, because literally people were smoking cigarettes in their homes and house fires were starting. So people were saying to the tobacco companies, hey, can you please make a flame retardant cigarette? Tobacco companies were like, no. But what we will do is start a campaign for furniture to be flame retardant. Instead of cigarettes, let's just make all furniture and mattresses and a lot of other household items flame retardant. Let's put flame retardant on it so that it can reduce house fires. Obviously, flame retardant is so bad for us. Flame retardant is like in the actual couch, and it continually migrates out of furniture and turns into indoor dust, which then is ingested by people and pets. And think about freaking babies who are just crawling all around your house. And again, not to scare you, I'm about to offer a solution here, but Duke University did a test of 101 American couches bought between 101 American couches bought between 1984 and 2010. So brands we're talking about. They found that 85% of the couches contained harmful or inadequately tested flame retardant chemicals in the foam. So my couch, was from my parents' basement, which has been there for like 10 years. It has flame retardants probably all in there. I try not to think about it because I don't have a cover on my couch, which is what my solution would be to something like that, is to get, instead of buying a whole new couch or buying a whole new mattress, is just to get a flame retardant cover. This definitely doesn't 100% solve the problem, but it can reduce the amount of dust that's coming out of the couch or mattress cover so that you can ingest it less and have less of these chemicals in your body hanging out. And I will also link one in the description so that you have an example. This is still going to be expensive and like relatively expensive. It's not like $20. It's probably going to be $100 something, but $100 versus buying an entire new couch, if this is something that you care about, or if this is something that you're interested in doing, but you want to do it a little bit more cheap, then this is going to be the way to go. But all in all, it's still $100 something. And flame retardant chemicals disrupt your hormone levels and have a major impact on your thyroid hormones and brain development, especially for children. So that's awesome that they just crawl around and pick up that dust. So instead of buying a new couch, a cover is definitely a way to go. And then the last thing that I wanted to bring up is just simply washing your hands more. Flame retardant chemicals are also found on our computer keyboards, which I don't know about you, but I'm clacking away on every single day, all day. Obviously, people work. So just wash your hands maybe before you eat, especially when you're like about to go make lunch, you're touching your computer. Let's wash our hands and then let's prepare our food. Or maybe let's not put our hands on our face or put our fingers on our face when we are working in the middle of the day, which is so hard for me. And I really try to catch myself doing it, but let's just be a little bit more mindful of that. Again, I feel like this is a given, but maybe it's not, especially when you're about to do skincare. Let's wash our hands before we wash our face. Start with a clean palette. Wash your hands more, people. And also, I think this goes without saying, but maybe not, take your shoes off before you come into the house. I live in New York City. It is nasty out there. There's pee everywhere and trash everywhere. So before I come into my home, I definitely want to make sure that I am taking off my shoes. So I can't control other people also. So sometimes people come into our house, they're putting their shoes in the living room, especially at least my room is a safe space for me. I really try my best not to wear any of my outside shoes in my indoor space. Even though I do keep a lot of my shoes in my room, so you can only do so much, but just keep it in mind. And this isn't the end-all be-all for sure. Obviously, if you want to make your house 100% chemical and toxic free, buying all new furniture will probably be really the only way to go. But it is really difficult as a consumer to make these lifestyle choices. it's really hard to buy products that don't have any chemicals in them or have a reduced amount of chemicals in them, because companies just make it so damn easy to buy cheap things that are great in the short term but can really have an impact on our health in the long term. So I hope that these tips are helpful for someone who's looking to make those choices, but if not, if you don't want to make those choices, that's also totally fine. You're not going to die by any means, but if you are looking to reduce the amount of chemicals in your life, these are some cheap ways that will hopefully be helpful. And even these are not going to reduce anything by 100%, but just that little bit of protection can help if you are looking to reduce the amount of chemicals in your life. And hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.